It's interesting that you're like, violence is not okay until it like serves my purpose. Right?
Yeah. Violence is not okay until it's Hamas.
Right.
Then, oh my God, let's just forget about it.
Yeah. Well, they have a right to their whatever. Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
This is some sweet action from Ben. You might want to cut just this part. Darius and I talking about Hamas and violence in politics, and Ben trying to like fix the curtain.
And kill a spider.
I think I killed a spider. Yeah, violence is okay when it's for your purpose.
I'm glad he's dead.
Oh, Ben's
such an arachnophobia. Ugh.
Oh, I was talking about the Hamas.
An arachnophobic.
I've never heard him say anything about gay people that I felt like was hateful, though.
So, should we start the podcast? Talking about the Olympics.
I hit my butt yesterday and it hurts. I was sledding down a hill.
Sure you were.
I was! We were doing ice blocking or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where you get an ice block.
Yeah.
And
then it melts, so there's no evidence. We know.
Sounds like you got blocked in the ice pretty good.
No! No!
The perfect ice block.
The perfect ice block.
I'm cutting all of this out.
You are, Ben.
You have an affair, but it's on a bed made of ice. You're like, yeah, we destroyed the evidence.
You go, what bed? There's severe water damage, but okay. Yeah, let's start the pod. Hey guys, welcome to NewWayStories. This is a comedy podcast where we talk about using creativity and story to make the world a better place. With me, as always, Darius Giles. He's the most athletic, non-athletic person I know. It looks like he should be good at every sport, but he's
good
just
at
simply
none.
not. And of course, our producer extraordinaire, Ben Salazar. Ben, what sport are you best at?
None.
Yeah.
What sport could you maybe hold your own against other normal people?
Zero. You put me on any team, that team will lose. You could put me with the best people, they will lose.
The USA Olympic basketball team. Ben's the fifth man, and they're just getting smoked by frickin' the Philippines.
China Taipei.
Yeah, I would make it difficult for everyone to play. I wouldn't know what's going on. It would be horrendous.
I cut you off, Jesse. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I have a small goal that I want to be like at least a little bit better at stuff than normal people, right?
Yeah.
So I can still do the backflip on the trampoline.
Can still do it.
I'll do it off the wall every now and again, just to like prove that I still have it. And I'm gonna keep doing it until like I break a leg, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, just to be like, okay, I don't have it anymore. But the goal is to just do it, and the theory is if I keep consistently doing it, like I'll never lose it, right? I don't know if that's entirely true, but
well, I'm sure it's a little bit true. The funny thing about you is you've got the best genes. You've got the best genes.
Levi 501s.
God, they look really good.
Yeah.
Never thrown out your back. Not once have you thrown out your back.
No, that's not really. Although I did play spike ball with my cousin Jake a couple days ago, and although I lost a little bit of my time, I was still like really good at serving or not serving, setting.
Yeah.
You got that little bit of volleyball action in there. I haven't quite lost it, but I lost my touch on how to get the ball, like, doing those quick little touches to get the ball to the net. Anyway, uneven surface that we were playing on, and I kind of felt like I rolled my ankle a little bit, and I was like, I kind of rolled it, and kept playing, no big deal. And then later that night in bed, my knee actually, like, my ankle was fine, but my knee was definitely swollen.
I forget about you. Okay, so you do have.
I have. Listen, I don't want people to
one
think
hit
that I'm
should
some
be
sort of Adonis. Like, I do have flaws. Okay, I got weak knees.
We got weak knees.
Is that Oh no, it's weak ankles. Kronk. He goes.
I
was in the bag.
Weak ankles.
I was usually in the bag
Weak
because of my
ankles.
weak ankles. Wrestled you in high school. Kronk might be one of the greatest
Change the ball to a
comedy characters of all time.
dude.
So good. So we're talking about sports today, which we know we don't really talk about it on this podcast because
I like to pretend like they don't exist.
like we said, we're not the greatest. Although
But Jesse knows everything about sports. though.
I'm a little bit of an enigma where I have quite a bit of nerd knowledge. I enjoy nerd things. There's a new Batman animated series on Amazon.
Crusader.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that.
Is it good?
But I
heard it's
also
really good.
watch like 4 hours of golf every week.
Whew. Whew.
You know what? I'm also reading. It's on in the background. I try to I'm
Both-
reading but also watching golf.
Both times I've been to a golf course, I've had a serious confrontation with someone, and the second time, I almost got in a fight.
Maybe
And that is my relationship with golf.
maybe golf's not the sport for you.
Or maybe it's a
that's-
sign. That
Or maybe the other people need to
It still makes my blood. We were playing in front of the course pro, who was also drinking that day.
Oh, well,
in
that's a part
Leavenworth.
of golf.
And he starts screaming and shouting at us because we're playing too slow. And I was like, oh, man. There's not a snowball's chance that I couldn't beat the crap out of this guy. One-armed.
One part of our podcast is trying to promote nonviolence in
Yes.
controversies, but
Which I
that's-
did that day.
that's
I did
why
nonviolence.
some of us avoid sports because it just brings out the part in us that we don't like so much.
This is also true.
But we're talking about it because the Olympics are happening. It happens once every 4 years. It's in Paris.
If you live in Washington, you can see the Olympics all year. It's a mountain range.
Yeah, I get it. The Olympic National Forest.
Yes,
We're in
indeed.
Washington.
Yes,
so
indeed.
we're gonna step out of our element today on New Way Stories,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do what 90% of guys do when they gather together in bars. We're talking sports. But
We're talking
first,
sports.
we're talking
We're
sports.
gonna complain about our wives and our kids.
Quit being such a wimp. Pound that
Yeah.
ginger ale. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have a ginger ale at a bar.
But first, our one quick question. This is mostly geared towards Ben.
What?
Deadpool Wolverine? That's my question.
It was really fun. It was super good.
Deadpool
I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's my favorite of the three because it after I kind of knew this going in, and afterwards the friends I saw it with kind of confirmed it. It is not. I mean, you're sort of getting the same Deadpool stuff that you got from the previous.
You have his humor.
Yes,
We
but
talked about this last week. Ryan Reynolds has one thing of humor.
Right.
It's entertaining.
I'm going to look right at the camera.
I will say, so Malia didn't want to.
Oh, you're a superhero with claws. Okay.
That's really
What are you
good.
going to do with those? Tickle me? Ooh, saucy.
Malia did say, because she didn't want to watch the movie, but we were watching interviews and I was telling her about it, and she's like, I think Darius is Ryan Reynolds, or Ryan Reynolds is Darius.
Dude, Ryan Reynolds, Alex Tillman is Sam's Club Ryan Reynolds.
Which is still pretty awesome.
It's pretty
You know
good.
what I mean? Like,
Which is still several steps above me.
someone,
I was going to say your Kirkland signature.
well,
Yeah,
I mean,
we're-
that's like,
We're both definitely different brands.
someone told me, not someone, I was getting my haircut. This is probably like 10 years ago. I got my haircut, and the girl who was cutting my hair goes, I think you kind of look like Ryan Gosling. And I was just like, I don't know if you like overheard me talking about how much I love Drive or what. Like, but you've definitely said the right thing. I was like, I don't think that I do look like Ryan Gosling,
She
but
was
that's
like, wow.
it's very touching of you.
You kind of look like Ryan Gosling.
In Lars and the Real Girl.
Oh,
That's
oh
what
my
I was
gosh.
talking about.
Did you watch
I
Lars
did.
and the Real Girl?
We did watch it.
Let's go.
We watched.
How'd you feel?
It's good, but I want to talk about Deadpool.
Oh yeah, sorry, Deadpool.
Right.
It's
Let's
my
get to it.
It's my favorite of the
Okay,
three.
bub.
It reminds me of a No Way
A
Home.
guy, bub. He's Australian. Sorry.
It reminds me of No Way Home, and I respect it for having cameos, but not feeling too cameo-y.
On the nose.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if
Don't
people
even
show
think about
up,
a cameo.
they serve a purpose.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, hey, there's a little bit of, hey, look at this, but it's
Yeah.
just more of a fun montage, and it's not meant to be any more than
Okay,
just that.
I was actually kind of thinking about this, and this is a little bit of a I don't know how many like Easter eggs. I know this is a little different, cameos and Easter eggs, but how many of these like Easter eggs do like real fans, like The Flash, right? You had a whole bunch of things being put in, and then afterwards you go, oh, all these Easter eggs, and then everybody's talking about all these Easter eggs and how amazing it was and how like cool. How many of those people actually recognized the Easter eggs before they got onto an online chat room and everybody said, this is what this Easter egg is for?
I don't know. I think we got. I mean, the most I could see. I mean, there's so much happening. Like you would kind of catch something.
Because I'm a pretty big comic book fan, but I definitely am not the biggest comic book fan. And I think a lot of Easter eggs go over my head, and I don't know about them until someone says, "Oh, this Easter egg happened." But then I feel like nerds put on this air of like righteousness, and they go, "Oh, that movie is amazing! Easter egg here, 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 here." I'm like, I don't think you actually saw all those Easter eggs.
You'd have to be,
and it doesn't make it a good movie.
Yeah.
I have a certain group of buddies. I I stopped talking about Marvel movies with them because the first time I had ever heard them mention Kang, the Conqueror, was them being like, yeah, Kang's pretty big in the comics. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the next big. They kept saying the next big bad, which that phrase in and of itself was so annoying to me. I was like, why don't you just say villain? Why don't you just say antagonist? Why are you saying like this coined phrase that you read on the internet? Be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Kang's gonna be the next big bad. And I was like, you don't even know who Kang is. You've never said the word. You've never said the name Kang.
Yeah.
You've never read the name Kang. You're just saying that because you read it on Reddit.
Right.
Whoa!
You read it on Reddit.
I don't mind that you're excited, but I don't want to talk to you about it. I know this sounds really mean. Honestly,
No.
it's probably just really pretentious of me. But I
It's
just
a
didn't
reverse
enjoy-
pretentious.
I didn't enjoy talking to people about it who were like acting as if they noticed something, but they got it secondhand from someone. No, to be fair, I also get some stuff secondhand, lots of stuff secondhand. But
I just
anyway,
admit it though. Here, let me.
I think that's
sorry.
the
Let me
thing.
climb up on this high horse
Whoa,
really quick.
careful.
It's kind of hard to get up
It's a
here
rocket
sometimes, but once I'm on, it's pretty solid fit.
Yeah.
I'd never had heard of Guardians of the Galaxy before it came out
Neither have I.
on a movie.
Nope,
I had
neither.
never heard of Shang-Chi until
Shang-Chi.
that too. Until
I knew a lot about Shang-Chi.
they announced the movie, and then I said, I mean, Darius and I had this conversation of like, dude, this is just like a martial artist that is like holding his own with the Avengers, and we both were like, how have we not been ultra fans of this comic book the entire time?
Because it was super racist.
It's
in the
because they stopped making it in the 70s because it's super racist. In their defense, they weren't trying to do this, but it is hilarious. But it's just being like, oh, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of Ant-Man, or I had heard of Ant-Man, but I had never read the comic book, right? I don't know his backstory. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. I'm just going to get down now. Sorry. More, so cameos didn't feel cameo-y.
No, there was a couple moments, but it was really funny. There's so it's like the No Way Home of the Deadpool universe, the Deadpool franchise. I mean,
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it more than the other two because I don't really love the other two. But like No Way Home, I had a lot of fun with. there's still some plot points where you're like, it's a bit of a stretch, and
Yeah.
you're like, even in Deadpool, there's a moment where I'm like, what's their motivation? Wait, how did we get here? Wait, and I forgave it more in Spider-Man because I loved all of them.
I think the benefit of Deadpool is that you're starting with a tone of we're poking fun at
Yes,
stuff.
and there's a lot of it. It's
We're
hilarious.
like nodding to things that we know you make fun of, behind closed doors, whatever. Like, and we
Right.
will also make fun of that with you. And so when you have a little bit of like, wacky comedies, right? You're like, oh, the plot doesn't quite fit. This would never happen in real life. And you're like, yeah, it's a wacky comedy. Like,
Yeah, and I was able to forgive most of it
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm just having a great time.
Yeah.
And there were moments like, especially one of the villains, they're very entertaining. The two villains in this movie, like
Yeah.
when they're on screen, you're like, oh, this guy's fun. I mean, he's a bad guy, but he's
Sure.
fun. But I remember thinking like towards the end of the movie, I'm like, what do they want? Wait, I forget. I'm just having a
They're
good
just
time.
evil because they're evil.
I guess so,
Back
but
to
I'm-
what we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah. But like it's definitely my favorite of the Deadpool, but No Way Home is not my favorite of the Spider-Man movies because I think the first two Spider-Man are better than the first two Deadpool.
I mean, that first Spider-Man
Is amazing.
is
Homecoming.
Yes.
amazing.
And also
Homecoming, amazing Spider-Man.
there's one scene, and I was telling Malia about it, and then someone posted a clip of it, and I finally got to show Malia, where I was like, oh man, I forget Hugh Jackman is like a real actor.
Yeah.
There's like a minute monologue he gives, and he's giving it his all.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I remember the theater was silent after
Yeah.
he gave this little thing.
Ah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Like that's why I'm like, this is not really a Deadpool movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's none of that in Deadpool.
The-
Deadpool 2.
This is another thing that I've really been contemplating, and I kind of miss is comedy movies, and they did this a lot in the 80s and 90s. Comedy movies with comedic actors, but like actual actors. You know what I mean? And not to say Ryan Reynolds isn't an actual actor, but I do think he's a little bit one-toned, and it makes him millions of dollars. So I'm not here knocking it, but as far as the craft goes, and we'll talk about this in a moment, but Cool Runnings with John Candy, there's a monologue that John Candy delivers, and I go, oh, shoot. You're an actual actor.
Yeah.
Like, you're hilarious, and you do funny, weird movies, but, like, there's heart behind it. It's Father of the Bride, right, with, like, Steve Martin, where you're like,
Right.
okay, this is a really funny movie, but this is also, like, heartwarming,
Yeah.
good acting, good story.
And it reminded me, even like in the interviews and all the stuff on social media afterwards, they're just having a great time. And then seeing him like giving his all in this movie that doesn't need that.
Sure.
It just made he like it made me think that he genuinely like cares about this movie and
Yeah.
was having a great time and wanted to give it his all.
Yeah.
And that I think that definitely showed. And so if they're having a great time making the movie,
Yeah.
so am I.
I think that genuinely comes through.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a great time making a movie, like, I think it comes through. I think the old ways of Kubrick and like all these like old school 70s where they're like, we're gonna make this miserable, like making a movie shouldn't be fun. Like, I think that is dead. I think people want to have fun.
And Hugh Jackman did not need to make this movie.
No.
Wolverine was dead.
Yeah.
He closed the book, but he's like, I want to come back for this.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
It's a good
he
one
did.
to end. It's a good
Glad
one
he
to
did.
end on.
I don't know if I haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know if they introduce a new official variant of Wolverine that's going to be the actual MCU Wolverine. I really would like for Hugh Jackman to pass the baton.
Yeah.
We don't need Wolverine to look like he's
No.
almost 60 years old. Like, it's
Okay,
so,
but also
It's
there's a scene.
freaking, it's Schwarzenegger
I-
doing Terminator. You go, hey,
There's a scene in this movie.
it's time to move on.
There's a scene in this movie, and everyone's talking about where his shirt just rips open.
yeah.
Greek god. He's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
shredded 12 8-pack, like huge pecs. It's nuts.
How much of that
Yeah,
is
well,
After
it's not.
Effects?
It's not nuts. It's medicine. it's actually not. I understand that people are wowed by that, but
I
with the
think
right
I-
amount of
I think I told you guys this before, but in Rambo 2, he's like, there's a part where they like stretch him up and they're like torturing him, and he like Stallone goes to his personal trainer. He's like, yo, I'm gonna be in this position. Like, can we like work out these muscles? I need these to really pop. You're like, yeah, sure, Sly. Like anything you want. And then you just like dedicate your life to making it pop.
Yep. The thing for men, it's harder for women. But the thing for men is with enough testosterone and a personal trainer, it's pretty impossible to F up a great physique.
Anything's possible.
You just take the testosterone. It helps you burn more fat. It builds muscle, whether you even work out or not. So I think it's cool that Hugh Jackman looks jacked, but
he's put the Jack and Hugh Jackman.
But his face is painfully obvious that his hair is like fake colored, and his facial hair
like
is fake colored.
Yeah, his hair.
And
looks
I don't know why.
Weird.
I don't know why they didn't let him have like his natural colored facial hair for the movie. But every time I see it, I'm like, why does this look so off?
Or just do like good makeup. Like there are professionals.
Yeah, they're out there.
That can do that.
I'm not complaining. I love Hugh Jackman.
I agree with you, and this will never happen. I think I was talking to Ben about it. I think 5 years is the official turnaround.
That's enough.
Right?
That's enough.
Was it you and I talking about this with James Bond? Yeah. It was 4 years between the last Pierce Brosnan movie and Daniel Craig movie. Okay. I think that's decent. You need one more year to make it perfect. But you give me 5 year drought of no Wolverine, and then you can cast somebody else, and I'll be okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the current climate, unfortunately, I hope they don't wait 5 years. But I do hope that they find a way to pass the baton.
I think you need to wait 5 years, or else it feels.
All that's the same. I agree with you. With the multiverse thing, I think you get a lot of wiggle room. With the multiverse thing, you have room to be like, well, this is a different universe, Wolverine.
Yeah.
But it still would feel. You're right. Like if within the next 5 years there's a Wolverine title movie, you're gonna be like, we just went to the theater to watch Wolverine in a Wolverine title movie.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this again?
Right. So overall,
great time. I'll give it a 7 light 8 out of 10.
Oh, a 7 light 8 out of 10.
I just had a really good time.
Yeah.
Let me watch it again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But
boom.
I'm really looking forward to watching it. I've heard that there's no nudity.
No nudity. Just a lot of blood, swearing, cursing.
What more do you need?
Yeah, that's all.
So you're just describing my childhood.
Fun for the whole family.
All right. We're going to get into our topic at hand. That one quick question turned into a little bit more, and that's my fault for bringing up Easter eggs. So it's like one quick question with a few rabbit trails, which I think is on par for us.
Yeah.
I think that's our brand. Yeah.
Speaking of sports references, the Olympics on par. Ben, that's a golf term.
Okay.
The Olympics is happening. I freaking love the Olympics.
The Olympics are great.
I'm gonna point out some stuff, and then we can chat. One, the Olympics, it brings out national pride, right? Like I am proud to be an American.
Where at least
I know I'm free. Exactly. Yeah. And the Olympics is really the only time that I get on board with national pride, which is a huge shift from when I was younger. When I was like 18, 19, it was America all the way. And now I'm like, I could go live in like a European like country and town and be completely cool with that. But
yeah, one where there's a U.S. military base protecting you.
The national pride of like USA dominating in the Olympics, it brings it out of me.
It's so great.
You feel proud to be an American, right? And you're like, this is incredible.
And I won't forget the men who died.
That's right. That's right.
Give that right to me.
You have the ability to compete and to do cool things and
we're
to
living
represent.
in Kamala Harris's United States, the men and women who died.
That's a great point. Ben. Sorry for Ben's just blatant misogyny.
And I won't forget them who died and gave their life for me. Them/they.
I do the in Saving Mr. Banks, the brothers are doing the song, right? They're not brothers. Are they brothers? No.
Yeah, they are.
They are brothers. They're doing the song, and they're performing it for, the author, Mary Poppins. And she goes, but that's not grammatically correct. It should be this. And then she says it grammatically correct and tries to sing it. And she goes, maybe it's okay this one time. It's like in art and song, it's really hard to be like absolutely correct and make it still flow.
I'll tell you what, I know some women in the military and they don't care.
Right.
They do not care.
Okay. National pride. Amazing.
Yeah.
Here's one thing that I have been contemplating. The weird sports, the odd sports in the Olympics, the badminton, the table tennis, the fill in the blank that you can't make a real living playing said sport. Speed walking.
Is that really one?
Yeah, bro. Marathon speed walking. You can't have 2 feet off the ground at one time, or it's a jog.
Oh, Ben, why did you ask this question? You just
So-
nicked one of Jesse's special interests.
Have you not been watching speed walking? No, I haven't watched it either. China and Russia pay their athletes like full time so that they can like be the best speed walkers ever, or or badminton
Because of
players.
propaganda.
America, you have to have a full-time job and be passionate about these obscure sports. Like, there are Americans who are like, I want to be the best in the world at badminton, and then they also are an accountant. Like, you know what I mean? There was actually a swimmer who got the bronze.
Not bad.
Not bad. He was his first medal. That's the Trump endorsed spray tan.
It wasn't even supposed to.
Was that not to be?
Oh my god!
Endorsed by the president. It's the bronze.
That was a good
Perfect time for the Olympics. The best. Oh, now I'm losing it. Oh no!
Lost it.
To get the gold medal in your spray tan, you gotta get bronze. Anyway,
it comes with just enough, but it doesn't do this section.
For those of you going for a more refined look, you can try my new product, Agent Orange.
So he won a bronze medal, but he's like an engineer, right? And he's like doing that full time, and then he has to train full time, and then he goes to the Olympics, and he's one of the best in the world. Insane. So there's like basketball and other sports that athletes are getting full time pay, right? That are making millions playing their sport. But those obscure sports are relatable for us because if you want to like give time to your craft, if you want to be awesome at fill in the blank, writing, painting, whatever, like the odds are you're not ever going to really make a full-time career out of it.
Yeah.
You have to have a full-time job and be passionate about fill in the blank, like whatever you want to do.
Or an inheritance. There's definitely
That's a great point.
There's definitely a huge population of people that play those obscure sports so professionally. They don't have to work for, a massive portion of the year anyway.
True. And, obviously in Olympic years, you can get sponsors, things of that nature. But I just, it was a little inspiring to me,
Yeah.
It's possible for if they can do it.
Yeah.
You could do it.
And so kind of like, I don't know. And then also I really love the Olympics is like the only time that you can sit down and feel good about watching badminton. I think any other time in like the 4 years, if you're like, oh, hey, I got to get home. Actually, the badminton like championship is on ESPN2. People would be like,
the channel that's on.
You're watching. No, you're watching. You're watching badminton. But in the Olympics, you're like, I got to get home. I'm watching America like try to defeat the commies in badminton.
Yep. July of 2024, you're watching it badminton. July of 2025, you're watching 4 hours of it Bad Husband. The tables turn.
I mean, that's curling for me. Winter Olympics, I'm watching so much curling, and I'm like, it happens every 4 years. And then when I'm like, I'm gonna watch the national championship curling, it's harder to justify, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing that I love about the Olympics that we can draw inspiration from is healthy competition.
Yep.
Healthy competition. I was watching the skateboarding. I love that skateboarding is in the Olympics. And USA took second and third. Japan kid landed a gnarly trick to get him the gold, which was a little unfortunate. I would have loved 1 and 2 for the Americans, but we'll take silver and bronze. That's pretty good too. They all wanted to win like super bad, and they all have the ability.
Yep.
Any one of those 3 could have won that competition on any given day, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of it, like they were like super happy and group hugging each other, and they were like stoked that the other person like landed their trick, and it was they all wanted to win. They all knew they could win, but they all were like pumped for the other like competitors as well.
Awesome.
I think healthy competition is good, and I think that it's easy for us to like lose kind of sight on healthy competition and have it go towards negative competition. I told you we were going to talk about Cool Runnings.
You mentioned it. You brought it up.
John Candy's monologue in Cool Runnings. They like say that the Jamaican team can't bobsled, right? Even though they've done everything that the committee asked them to do. They met the qualifying times, they did whatever, and they were like, well, it's for the sport. And John Candy like storms into the office and he goes into this monologue about how he was banned from the Olympic Games as a competitor because he cheated. And he delivers this like thing about like the games are about getting to compete, getting to like hold your nation's flag, like to represent your country. And whether you're in first place or last place, it doesn't matter. Like it is about the honor of competing. And he's like, and I lost that. Like I lost that and I cheated and I made a fool of myself, my teammates, and my coach. And the coach is like, and you've seen Cool Runnings, you know the scene. But it's like, it's really moving. John Candy, R.I.P. But you have to remember healthy competition, and even if you don't win, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
You know what?
Good point. But I think, okay, here's the thing that we can use in our creativity, though. I think we have to have healthy competition in our creativity. I think competition naturally, like, elevates a better, like, performance, right?
Yes.
If I'm competing with somebody, I want to do better, right? I have to figure out a way to try to beat them or to best them or whatever. And I think in creativity, we have to have that, especially if we are trying to make some sort of like monetization out of it. If you're just doing it for funsies, you don't have to have creativity. You don't have to have competition. It's totally fine that you're like, I just do this for joy. Like I write in my journal and nobody sees it but me. And that's totally cool.
Loser.
But if you want like some sort of monetization out of it, you got to have healthy competition. And I think instead of being bitter about people around you getting breaks and like making money, this was like a problem for me with stand-up for a really long time, that I would look at people doing full-time stand-up and I'm like, gosh, I'm so much funnier than you are. Like I deserve to be making a living doing stand-up compared to whatever. And that bitterness, that like jealousy, like it really is destructive, I think, for creativity.
It is. I think it hampers you from being. That's not competition. That is whining. Like that's the back end of when you've lost. And I don't mean to be like, I'm not thinking about you. I'm not meaning to be harsh on you. No. But like that's not competition. That is whining after you've lost the competition.
Right.
There's nothing competitive. Literally, there's nothing competitive about saying, I should have won. That person doesn't deserve that. All that, like, that literally doesn't help you at all.
Well, I forgot to say that, like, after that, I did start taking steroids. Trying to level the playing field.
In comedy.
My vocal cords feel so strong.
Just a big...
I got you for 3 minutes. That's how I always open my open mic sets. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
But what it does is if you can like not be a quitter, then you'd be like, oh, I think that I can do better than that person.
Yeah.
So I'm going to prove that I can do better than that person. If you want to have a joy-filled life, you have to be able to be happy for other people.
Absolutely.
When they succeed, and you have to be able to be gracious with other people if you're blessed enough to succeed yourself.
I think walking in humility is a very underrated like skill, I guess, or way of being.
Great.
And just like if you can be happy for someone and joyful for someone else's success, even when you are not receiving the same success, even if you feel like it might be deserved or not, being happy for somebody and joyful for another is such a healthier way to live than than always living in fear. I think if you're trying to live in the like I'm the best and you have that like pride, there's a difference between having pride in your work and wanting to be, whatever, like to achieve the best that you can achieve. And like it's very in the what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not stable. It's not a stable way of life because someone will knock you off from being the best, right? Like we just saw it with Michael Phelps. Like someone broke his like world record at the Olympics and he was pumped. He was pumped for that guy.
One down, 39 to go.
Yeah, right. He wasn't like in the corner like crying. I mean, he was like, I held it for 20 years. That was a pretty good run. Like, I'm so pumped for this kid. That's, despite the fact that he's French. Leon Marchand. I do love Darius, you got a better French.
C'est oui.
What are you gonna do now that you've won? Have a cigarette. I just love the idea of all the French athletes like smoking and eating a baguette.
Not really caring.
Yeah, he goes. The nice thing about swimming is that I can carbo load. It's just a bunch of baguettes. It's not the best French accent, but it's really funny
French
to me.
Accent. French is hilarious. The French are funny themselves.
Yes, that's not the word I would use for them, but I also like they should have. This is an old joke, but I just saw a text message come through on Ben's phone, and it said, "Are you watching The Chosen or Pirates tonight?"
Don't. This is my personal life. I choose to watch what I want to watch.
I didn't say who sent it or why they sent it. I just want to know what the answer is and what pirates are we talking about? Are we talking about like Curse of the Black
Live
Pearl,
pirates? Are you
or
just
is there?
pirates?
Yeah,
Just kind of people watching.
Probably the first one.
Curse of the Black Pearl.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably that.
What a movie, man. What a movie.
What a movie.
You heard it here first. Ben is choosing to watch a Disney film over The Chosen.
No, okay. Wait.
No, Ben's
We're
a
in
huge
season
Ben's
4.
a huge Chosen fan.
I love the Chosen.
Congratulations on all the gay kids you're going to have one day.
Hey, I just shouldn't have watched that Disney movie.
Don't worry, they're not gonna have. Don't worry, they're not gonna have TikTok, so they won't be gay.
Ben's gonna like walk into his son's room and it's gonna be all like just incredibly decorated. Should have watched The Chosen.
Should have watched The Chosen.
Sorry, Kirk. Let you down.
Dallas Jenkins.
Kirk isn't in The Chosen, but he should be.
Yes, he should be.
He should be Judas.
Yes, you guys heard it here. Jesse and Ben both saying there should be more white men in The Chosen.
I think so. I mean, not white men, just actors.
The actors of The Chosen are great. Have you watched any of it?
I haven't. I really, I want to watch it.
We're in season 4.
I was like, I can't. Like, I was not interested. It's great. It's really,
Yeah.
It's too accurate for you. You're like,
I've heard it's really, really solid.
it's some of the best TV. It's some of the best TV coming out. It's definitely better than The Acolyte.
Okay.
Yep.
And I like The Acolyte, but it's definitely better than most of the Star Wars stuff Disney Plus has made.
Speaking of not liking Disney Plus Star Wars, the Olympics brings world unity.
Yeah.
Except Russia and North Korea. Which, just as a side note, their athletes haven't been able to compete under the banner of Russia for the last 4 Olympics. That's 16 years that the world, like all of the world, is saying, hey, Russia,
Not you.
like what you're doing,
Yeah.
like the rest of the world says no to it.
Yeah.
And it should be.
Well, not the rest of the world. Again, North Korea is like, keep going.
And China's like, well, yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, we're letting China compete
They're-
under the Republic of Chinese. And Hong Kong. Did you?
The Republic of Chinese.
China.
You could go fairly inappropriate doing a Trump talking about the Olympics, and it would be funny, but we're not going to do it here on the pod.
They all can be with chopsticks.
Did you know that Hong Kong and China are 2 different representations in the Olympic Games?
I did not know that.
Well,
And-
they're 2 different states.
Hong Kong is it is
What about
Chinese. It is Chinese. Taiwan is the Taipei Chinese.
I thought Hong Kong was sovereign. Is Hong Kong not a sovereign state?
So Hong Kong was a British territory, and it was given back over to the Chinese in the 90s.
Oh, you're right. That's my bad.
And
But
so
it's
now
still-
Hong Kong is like two states under one country or something like that. So
that's right. Because Hong Kong is like this super advanced, thriving, wealthy place. And China's not.
and other places around that area are not.
Not because of ethnicity, but because of this thing we like to call communism.
Communism, which it actually is kind of funny, is because I think that Hong Kong, I don't know. Well, China, they just kind of lie to people and to themselves because they don't represent China. They represent the People's Republic of China.
Yeah.
And I go, oh my gosh, you voted for president?
Mm-hmm.
You have a representative democracy
Yeah.
like America? Oh, you don't? Why do you call yourself the People's Republic of China? Listen, you can run whatever government you want to run. Just don't
lie.
Just don't try to pull the wool over my eyes.
Well, it's like
China.
It's like a wrestling name. They're the People's Champ.
You're right. Yeah.
Self-proclaimed
People's Champ.
Hey, we're the People's Republic.
So,
Mostly
Yeah.
China lies to Western university students.
Oh, brother. And
So-
I'm glad to be.
here's the thing, world unity. This podcast, we use comedy and story and creativity to hopefully make the world a better place. And I think the Olympics shows us a possibility,
Yeah.
even if it's for 2 weeks, where you can have the world, again, minus Russia and a few other randos,
Yeah. A couple other freaks. and
coming
weirdos
together to say, we have a common goal. We want to come together to compete and to have healthy competition and come together as one. Like, listen, Russia, again, I know that we're not a ton of people are listening to us in Russia.
Probably not allowed.
Not yet. But we're going to try to go to Russia one day and they're
I
going to
will
stop us. They're going to stop us. They
Sorry.
go, wait a second, Jesse Roberts of NewWayStories.
Of NewWayStories.
No way. No way
These
you
guys
can
will
come in
never
here.
come in. We'll never
go.
let you in the border. Not even once.
And then
You watched the movie Tetris? No, you can't. I'm
I'm actually a big fan, but I can't let you.
Cuba. That's- Don't tell mother.
Would you mind saying this to me? Make it out of Vlad the Dad.
Vlad.
It's a copy of Space Pioneer,
Yeah.
but it's like a bootleg version.
It's Vlad. Like it's totally. Like I didn't print this in Russia. He goes, I know.
They changed
Just
a few key
write
details.
it to Vlad. Vlad number 1 fan.
Changed a few key details of the story to make it more Russian. Just the main character Xander has a bottle of vodka in every scene.
Cuba is competing in the games. Just take note. Take note, Russia. If we're letting Cuba in, it's time to change it up a bit. That's all I'm saying.
Gooding Jr. Is that what you're talking about?
Cuba, he's in, man.
No way.
Well, Winter Olympics. He races sled dogs.
Yeah.
Huh?
Kubo was like, listen, Olympics, help me.
Help me help you. Is dog racing? I don't think dog racing is
I doubt it.
in a Winter Olympic sport. It feels like it should be. I don't know. There's probably there's Alaska and like parts of Canada that partake in it.
Dog
racing. Maybe not.
Dog racing, or as I like to call it, the Kamala Harris campaign.
I like it. So yeah, man, it's inspiring. World unity. Similar to this pod. World unity. And also the last thing here is that like sports is a legitimate creative outlet. I know that if you're listening to this podcast and you saw us in real life, you may not want to talk about your interest in sports in front of us for fear of ridicule or whatever, but I think it's a legitimate creative outlet.
Indeed.
Also, one thing that one of the things that we talk about in creativity is that it gives you an opportunity to build community, right? Like you find other people who are interested in what you're doing. I think the community that even this podcast has built, I don't think I would necessarily have been friends with Uzi, because I wouldn't have had Denton. I wouldn't have had the opportunity, right? But this podcast, has given us kind of this cool opportunity.
Outlet.
And I talk with Largent on a regular basis, compared to, when we weren't doing the podcast, I wasn't talking to him on a regular basis. So it's a really fun thing. Sports creates that unity, which is one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of golf, is because you get to go hang out with people for 4 hours. And it's just, I was talking to my mother-in-law. We were talking about how frustrating the game of golf can be because you spend so many hours playing this bleeping game, and oftentimes you're like, how am I not getting any better? But the people that you go and hang out with is that is why it is so much fun.
Which is why it's not a sport. It's a game.
It is
an
a game.
Activity.
It is a game. I would say if you're looking for a sport to play in high school, though, I suggest golf, because it's the only sport that, maybe I'll give you tennis as well, but golf and tennis are the only sports that carry over into the rest of your life. Okay, maybe you can play pick me up basketball from time to time, but
I've never heard anyone call it pick me up basketball.
The old pick me up basketball. It's a pickup game, right? Oh,
Yes,
pick me up. It's a pickup.
I don't know. I believe
you have a pickup game. I said pick me up. You just need a little pick me up. Let's go play some. Let's go
pick me up.
Let's go play a pick me up basketball.
It's only called pick me up basketball when Kevin Hart's playing it.
Okay, dude.
Come over here, Shaq. Pick me up.
I did watch Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson are doing Olympic highlights.
I know that, but I haven't seen any of it. Is it
so
good?
It's on Peacock. You gotta have Peacock. Okay. And it is pretty funny. there's a guy, Steven something, who does the pommel horse for men's.
Steven, bro. That is my favorite part of the freaking Olympics.
Dude.
Is Steven.
Yeah, he's it's a big deal. He's pretty cool. So he's got the glasses, right? If you haven't seen it, and he's pretty blind without them. But they're watching his pommel horse routine, and Kevin Hart goes, I mean, this like shows you that like you just don't even like really need to see to do this. Like it's kind of incredible. It's all by feel. Because he does think he's on the rings right now, but and then Kenan Thompson goes, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Steven, his teammates gave him the nickname Stevie Onesie. And
that's amazing.
it was a pretty awesome Kenan Thompson delivered line.
That's so funny.
Yeah, super funny. There was, I would say they had like a half-hour show that I watched, and 2 or 3 times I laughed. Like it like got an involuntary laugh out of me, even though I was watching it by myself. So that feels pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad.
yeah, awesome. I was gonna talk about
The shooting, the guy from Turkey.
No,
Everyone's talking about
no, no. I was gonna talk
Yeah.
about something and then I forgot.
I do.
It was
The thing
good
that I
too.
it. You know,
the thing that I think that I love about the unity aspect of the Olympics is the reminder that, like, that people from different countries are just people. Like, even
Yeah.
when you see the people from Russia competing, like
Yeah.
you see the people from the Republic of China competing, these people they're not our adversaries. They're
Yeah.
just other people who have the same interest and passion for this sport that live in another
Yeah.
place. And I know that sounds super like cliche, but I really
No,
love,
I love
do
it.
love that.
I was listening to the book White Fang by Jack London earlier today. And
Yeah.
it's talking about a wolf that born, he's a cub, he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And he's like a lone wolf at this point. And
They're never talking about the black fang. They're never talking about the brown fang. It's always
it was
who's
written
the white fang.
It was written in the early 1900s, so different time. White Fang. But he talks about he's trying to figure out the forest and nature, and he says everything unknown is hostile, right? Like it has that like perception. If I don't know it, I'm assuming it's hostile. And I do think that there's like a little bit of a barbaric like nature in humans that is our like instinct is like, this is unknown, so it's hostile towards me. And then it goes into, in nature, that's hostile, and then they fight to the death, and then the person or the thing that comes out on top gets to keep living. There is a bit of a barbaric nature, like the reason racism still exists is because you have people who still tap into that sort of like unknown. If it's unknown to me, I am afraid of it because it potentially is hostile. The Olympic Games, helps alleviate that, and I don't think that the Games solves. I don't think it solves racism. I think you probably need the gospel for that, but
is this Jesse's turning it spiritual?
yeah, I was trying to. This is just an underhand serve, beach volleyball style to Darius. Another game that he's not great at.
Too true.
The amount of volleyball games I've played with Darius and just hung my head after he tried to hit it. I do like it doesn't solve that issue, but like Darius was saying, you see all of these people from different places that just like the same sports that you like, right? And I think that it is powerful. I think that it's really cool. And I do think that sports gives like an in to, I mean, like we went over to this random party of old people and I saw a guy with a Mariners hat And then I talked to him for an hour and a half, and Kate was like, "What were you talking to that guy about?" The Mariners. Like, me and Ron are now fast friends. Like, it doesn't, you can talk sports with most people, right? And obviously if they're into sports, and then it kind of gives this, you can come together over sports in competition, and we see it in the Super Bowl, we see it in whatever. But all that to say, we needed to wrap up anyway. Darius has got to go. I got to go.
And I got to go watch Pirates.
Nice. I will say this last thing. I was super pumped. We are doing an Instagram post through Northtown Coffee House. Follow whatever Instagram at Northtown Coffee. Okay. We're doing like a get to know your baristas. Yep. And
sick.
We said, what's your favorite drink? What music would you play behind the bar? And what do you miss most about being at Northtown? Yeah. And unprompted, all four of them were like, in one way or another, they were like, we miss the community of being really cool in Northtown. And I was like, this is what I'm trying to build. This is what I was trying to do. And I have 4 employees that don't want to go work somewhere else, even though like they can't work right now. They don't want to go find another job because they want the community. And I was super pumped for that.
Really cool. Good job, dude.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Okay, I'm gonna say the last thing to close out. It's my wife's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Catherine. She's 33, the year of our Lord.
Yeah, dude.
And so when she listens to this on Monday, happy birthday. And when you guys all listen to this and realize that you forgot her birthday by 2 days, you can send her a guilty a text.
An apology. You can send her an apology.
You can send her an apology, and you can be like me, who forgot Darius's birthday on July 28th. And I think it was maybe July 31st that I go, oh, crap. My wife said, wasn't it Darius's birthday recently? And I go, I'm the worst friend ever.
Who said, yeah, he's missed enough bumps. I think it's okay for me to miss one birthday.
Bump is a volleyball term, Ben.
I didn't.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Bumps of cocaine as well.
Well, good point. Another
Missed
sport
all of them.
he's not great at. You go, Darius, it's right there for you. Couldn't have been a straighter line. Just like bounces his head off the table.
Spills water all over it.
We don't promote drug use, but that was a lot of value that you just washed down the drain. Guys, thank you so much for listening to New Way Stories. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Follow us on YouTube.
Yes.
You can watch us on YouTube if you're not already. Love you guys. Right into the pod, NewWayStoriesPod@gmail.com. We will see you next week.